This is episode 21 of the Online Playmaker Sessions with lifestyle entrepreneur and attraction marketing master, Adam Chandler.
Welcome to the Online Playmaker Sessions. This is the place for the latest what's working now strategies from the best online playmakers, the top marketers, the rising stars who are making it happen right now. Every week, you'll get real actionable lessons that you can take and apply immediately in your business, delivered in short 20-minute sessions. Our focus is your results. Here's your host, entrepreneur, world-class trainer, and marketing strategist, Norbert Orlowitz.
Hello, online playmakers. If this is your first time tuning into the Playmaker Sessions, thank you for choosing us, and don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, and if you prefer video, our YouTube channel at onlineprofitplaybook.tv. As with all of our episodes, we have all the show notes, transcripts, and actionable tips over on the blog. Just head over to www.onlineprofitplaybook.com. You'll also be able to get access to my complimentary 5-video tutorial series on building the proper foundation for your online business, as well as several other free trainings, including my Instant Income Multiplier tutorial. And if you're ready to multiply your results fast, check out the premium membership of our Online Profit Playbook, where our guests open up their closely guarded playbooks and walk you step by step through the exact marketing funnels and sales process they use to build their audience, grow their influence, and make sales. Get the coveted Online Profit Playbook today. Just head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers. Adam Chandler has been helping people create freedom and lifestyle using leveraged online business strategies for over 7 years now. He dove into the world of digital marketing after losing 2 newspaper advertising jobs in a 6-month period back in 2008 and hasn't had a real job ever since. In the world of online home business, Adam increased his income from $19,000 per year to 6 figures in just 2 years. In 2014, he became the #1 producer in his direct sales company and has attracted thousands of customers into his various online training products, live events, coaching programs, and masterminds. Adam is passionate about helping others create the same freedom and leverage he enjoys as a self-employed home business entrepreneur. This week's Online Playmaker, Adam Chandler. All right, welcome back, everyone. It's Norbert Orlowitz with another edition of the Online Playmaker Sessions. And today I've got my good friend out in Colorado, lifestyle entrepreneur, attraction marketing master, Adam Chandler. Adam, how's it going, my friend?
Hey Norbert, I'm doing awesome. I'm so psyched to be here and sharing some cool stuff with your people.
Yeah, this is lots of fun. I've been looking forward to this interview just because we go way back in this industry. You've been around for 7 years now in this industry, and I was going through some of your old YouTube videos as I was getting ready for this interview and pulling some clips for the teaser video that we make. And it was funny, man. It just brought back a lot of memories, back in 2010, 2011, MLSP events, No Excuses events, Colorado Mastermind. I remember that. We've just had so many great times, and it's been such a journey for both of us in this industry. So it's a real honor to have you here, and I'm really excited for you to share kind of your perspective and your vision on this whole industry, because you've had a really amazing time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say that the honor is certainly all mine because you were like one of my first mentors in the world of online marketing, home business, direct sales. I was modeling and following you like long before you had any idea who I was.
And isn't that funny? Isn't it amazing the way this world works? I've had some amazing conversations the last couple of weeks that have just really humbled me as far as impact is concerned, like the impact that we make on other people. And most of the time we have no clue about the impact that we're making because we don't know, especially when we get online and we start creating videos and we start putting our content out there. We have this ability to touch lives. And then those lives, those people's lives who we touch, they touch others' lives, and so on and so on. And this ripple effect goes on. Have you had some personal experience with that, with people coming up to you and kind of sharing their success stories?
Yeah, absolutely. I have just very recently. I mean, I've had people recently just tell me like, hey, I've been on your list forever. I've been following you forever. I love your stuff. I can tell that you're stepping up, you know, in what you're currently doing. I was actually just at an event in Las Vegas a few weeks ago, like an affiliate marketing event, and I had a guy that actually came up to me and he told me that he made his first commission online based on, so I was hosting an MLSP webinar. He said he made his first commission online based on something that I said during on an MLSP webinar back in like 2010 or something like that. And he said he just had his first $10,000 week in his business.
Isn't that amazing? I find it really humbling and so inspiring. And I hope that, you know, people listening to this can see what an impact they can make, you know, just by doing what we do. And it's like we become celebrities in a sense, you know, online in our own little niche of the world. Right. But we're just doing our thing, right? Like neither you or myself, you know, we're not big celebrities. I don't think you ever grew up thinking that you'd be making online videos, you know, in your business. But here we are. All right, so let's go back a few years here, because you've been online for a while. You've been having success, and I know that the road is rocky as well in this industry. There's a lot of challenges and pitfalls that we go through on this journey.
Yeah.
But let's talk to the people right now that are listening, that are, you know, maybe getting started, or maybe, you know, kind of struggling to get results, and they're looking for that breakthrough. Okay, I want you to go back to the breakthrough. I know there's probably a few different breakthroughs, but think about the difference. What was the difference between the time that you were struggling to finally when everything just, the pieces fit together and you finally started getting results? What was the breakthrough? I mean, maybe there was a mental breakthrough. Maybe there were some specific things you actually started doing. Take us back to that time and share with us, what was your big breakthrough? Yeah,
sure. Absolutely. So for me, and you know, I'll share this story. It's funny. You know, I actually mentioned this a lot. Like I when I first came online, I was maybe 6 months into my first opportunity. You were a top producer in this company. So the direct sales company that I kind of cut my teeth with, you know, when I first got started in 2008, you were already, you know, crushing it with this company. And I remember getting the newsletter, the physical newsletter from this company, and I had been in for a few months and I hadn't got any results yet, right? And it said Norbert. It said Norbert Orlovix. It said $2,000 in his second week. It was a testimonial for this company, and it said he'd made $2,000 in his second week. And I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, like I've been doing this thing for a few months. And I'm like, I'm not getting any results yet. I haven't made any money. I haven't sponsored a single person. I've invested, you know, a few $1,000s in, you know, in the system and in training and stuff like that. Like, what gives? What's wrong with me that I can't get the results? It wasn't until later on that I realized that this guy, Norbert, had been in the industry for 7 years before that experience, before he came into this company and made $2,000 in his second week. So you never want to compare yourself to anybody else, because you have no idea the journey that they've been on and what they had to go through to get to the results that they're experiencing today. That's just one thing that I'll say, and then I'll share some more on that.
That's actually a good note, just about when you read testimonials. Yeah. You know, testimonials are never the whole story, and it's not to say that they're you know, that they're a lie or that they're false. You know, that testimonial was 100% true. Yeah. But the problem with testimonials is, like, you never really get the whole story. It's kind of like your Facebook news feed, right? Like, you see all your friends and people you know, and all you see is their highlights. It's like the highlight reel of your life. And it's really easy. Sometimes you're looking through the Facebook newsfeed and you're like, oh my God, everybody's life is so awesome. You know, why don't they ever go through the problems that I'm dealing with? And we want to be careful. Want to be careful not to get caught up in that, because it's you know, it's never the whole story. So let's talk about the whole story, maybe, Adam. Let's share a little bit of the reality of the whole story here. Let's talk about some of the struggles and the challenges. Tell me, what were some of the big obstacles that you personally had to overcome?
Right. Yeah. So, I'll just share my story real quick. I mean, I came from a newspaper advertising background. I grew up in Vermont in the northeastern United States. I decided that I wanted to move to Colorado. So I moved 2,000 miles across the country by myself to where I now live in Colorado. I had no friends. I had one friend that lived an hour away. But I had no family, no support structures in place or anything. And I lost 2 newspaper advertising jobs in my first 6 months. 2008 was a rough time to be in the newspaper industry. And that was about the same time when I saw this little Craigslist ad that said, we can show you how to make money online. And I was skeptical, but I was also very intrigued by it. And I was very, I started seeing the testimonials, and that really got me like, oh my God, people are making $30,000, $40,000 a month working part-time in their flip-flops. Like, I didn't even know that that was possible. I didn't even know that people actually lived like that. I'm like, sign me up for that plan. whatever it takes to get me to that, like, to those guys' status. That's what I want to do. And so the next thing I know, I was borrowing $2,000 to start my first direct sales company. And then, I started learning I really immersed myself from the very beginning, because I was so frustrated with the results that I was getting in life. I just lost 2 jobs in a 6-month period of moving 2,000 miles across the country. I wasn't sure if I was going to have to move back home in failure and shame. And, so I saw this. I really saw the industry as a way out for me. I really saw it as a way for me to improve my life, improve my situation. I was really, really big into snowboarding and, other things. I was in a new place, and I wanted to explore, and I wanted to have the freedom to explore and travel and all these things. And I saw this as a way for me to do all those things. So I really did, really immersed myself into learning as much as I could, getting as exposed as I possibly could, and taking as much action as I could from the very beginning. Like, I was in massive action mode, which is crazy, because I see a lot of people today that are like, they maybe think that they're in action, but they're really just like watching webinars and training videos, and they're not really taking any real big actions in anything that's going to grow their audience, grow their list, make a name for themselves. They're not taking those kinds of actions, right? And those were the kind of actions that I was kind of taking from the beginning, and it still took me 6 months to make my first sale. It still took me 6 months to make my first sale online. So here I am, 6 months into the business, $10,000 in debt from the business. I borrowed $2,000 to get started, and then another $8,000 just on systems and programs and training products and all this stuff, right? So 6 months, $10,000 in debt, had not recruited a single person, had not made a dime. I sold my first ebook. It was a $40 ebook. It was a magnetic sponsoring. That was my first sale I ever made online. Was a magnetic sponsoring commission. I made $20. I made a $20 commission, and I'm like, it works. I'm like, it works. Finally, I had $10,000 in debt. I made $20. I'm like, yes, it's the
happiest you could ever be. Yeah, I know.
Right? They refunded the very next day.
That's perfect. That is a perfect story. Yeah, go on.
That was a real shot in the gut. That was one of maybe about 1,000 times in that first year that I wanted to quit. But I mean, it really was, and getting back to your first question, it really was like seeing other people making it happen and seeing like, wow, I'm not that much different than them. They've just made some different decisions. They've just kind of gone a different path in life I'm on that path. Right. And what really was able to help me to break through, and it was right around that 6-month mark, because right then things started kind of happening for me. That was actually when I first joined MLSP, which, by the way, was when MLSP first launched. I got into MLSP, and that's when I started making some affiliate commissions. I sponsored check this out. This is a great testimonial for MLSP. The first person I ever brought into MLSP also joined me in my primary business. The first person I ever brought into MLSP was also the first person that I ever sponsored into a direct selling company. And they lived in Australia. right? And I made $1,000 commission and off of that person joining my business, and that the belief just skyrocketed. I had never made $1,000 in a day before. I was starting to make some smaller affiliate commissions, and once I made that $1,000 commission, I was like, I'm never going to have another job for the rest of my life.
Awesome.
And
Yeah. So
here we are 7 years later, and I never have.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that I can pull out of what you shared there, Adam. I think one of the big things was, I mean, you fully committed. You know, I talk about all this all the time, and I hear this from so many leaders. You know, it's like you make that decision and you fully commit. This can't be a hobby. You know, we talk about that all the time, right? This can't be something that you're trying, that you're hoping will work, some kind of a hobby. It's like, no, this is my option, and I'm going to make this work no matter what, no matter how many failures and struggles I have along the way, because you're going to face them. Yeah. I'm curious now, because you talk about taking action.
Yeah.
And that's something that we hear all the time. Take action, take massive action. Yep. But I'm a very practical person. Yep. And I like to actually know, okay, so what specific actions did you take? You're talking about, you talked about like actions to brand yourself, to get yourself out there, to build your presence, you know, all that kind of stuff. So what were those actions that you took back then? And hopefully they're still relevant to what you're doing right now. So I'd like to know that.
Yeah, they are very relevant to what I'm doing right now. Actually, you know, they're very, you know, very fundamental things for sure. So like I said, you know, just getting back to the concept of modeling. You know, I was watching what you were doing. I was watching what Brian Finale was doing. I was really, you know, asking myself the question, how can I be more like these guys who were getting the results that I wanted? So that
what would Brian Finale do? That's basically right now.
It really was. That was a big question, was like, okay, how can I be more like them? And I'm like, well, they're making YouTube videos. So that's what I'm going to do. They're making YouTube videos. They're building up their social media presence, right? Those were some big things that I was seeing them doing that I could do. Some other things that the big guys were doing that I was seeing was they were putting a lot of paid advertising into Google AdWords, right? At the time,
yeah.
Because that was a big strategy at the time, right? And it's funny because I thought about it at the time, and I thought that I was at such a disadvantage because I didn't have the advertising budget. So I was almost forced into having to do all of the free stuff, the building the social media audiences, the doing a lot of content marketing, Web 2.0, YouTube videos, all that kind of stuff. And then the Google slap happened, where, you know, just to share, if you don't know what the Google slap was, Google basically one day said, if you're advertising any home-based business, make money online, you know, make money from home opportunity, we do not want your money. We do not want your advertising dollars. You are done. And a lot of people's businesses got wiped out overnight because they only knew how to do one thing, which was Google AdWords. That was the only way that they knew how to drive traffic and generate leads and generate business. So like I thought I was at a disadvantage by not being able to do that because I didn't have the advertising budget. And then looking back on it, I was like, wow, because I didn't have that and I was forced into doing the YouTube stuff, I was still standing because I was diversified and I had all these assets that were building, and I wasn't relying on just one thing. So that was and there's a big principle right there that I've really focused on and taught over the last couple of years is diversity equals stability, right? You can't just rely on one source of something as important as traffic and leads for your business. You have to be diversified, because if one of those things goes away, you have to be able to fall back and not lose your entire business like a lot of people. That happened to a lot of people back then.
Absolutely.
They only knew how to do that.
Yeah, and it really comes down to like what you're saying, the fundamentals, and creating content is one of the fundamentals. And it's amazing because I actually asked that breakthrough question of everybody that I've had on this show so far. Yeah. And every single person, when I asked them what are the specific actions you started taking, the answer is creating content.
Yeah. It really was. I mean, I was doing YouTube. I was doing YouTube videos like crazy. And all I was doing was just sharing I was excited to learn this stuff, right? I mean, I really was like, I knew that I was creating a new, very profitable set of skills, and that it was going to take some time, but I knew that I knew that I was kind of on this path, and that I was doing some things right. And I was like, so I was so excited to learn this stuff that I was just turning around and teaching it in a video form. So I would just read a chapter in Think and Grow Rich, and I would make a video and say, hey, I checked this out. I just read this chapter in Think and Grow Rich, and I had this aha moment, and I just had to share it with you. And that was a lot of the content that I was doing, was I was just regurgitating information. And that's it's really all that we do in content marketing. You know, none of these are original ideas. We pick them up along the way, and then we turn around and we share them, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And especially when you're getting started. And that's one of the big concerns that I hear from new people, is they say, well, what do I share? How can I start creating content and positioning myself as an authority or as an expert when, you know, I don't know that much. I'm just getting started. I haven't had that much success. And you just answered it right there. You're just sharing what you're learning. Yeah. And just being excited about it and sharing what you're learning. And as you do that, your confidence grows, your knowledge grows. I mean, everything just develops. I think that's a huge thing. All right. You guys just spent a weekend at a mastermind that you were running up in Denver with some of your high-end clients. Yep. And I'm sure you had some really great experiences with people, and you're showing people how to get their business off the ground. If you were to synthesize I'm going to try to synthesize your whole event into 5 minutes here. But if you were to synthesize, you know, everything that you were teaching, and also everything that you learned from the people at that event, what would be your advice to marketers listening to you right now? You know, like, you know, 3 big tips, or like, you know, what's your advice to them?
Sure.
What do they need to do in their business?
Yeah, you know, I actually I kind of broke it down into well, okay. First of all, I got in the towards the end of 2015, I got an Anthony Robbins course, which was all about planning and time management, and because I really wanted to go into this new year, you know, with more focus and clarity and a better plan than I've ever had, right? And I totally have done that, and that was one of the ways that I did that. And he actually, you know, he's like, okay, you gotta break down your business life, your career into these categories, and then break down your personal life into these other categories, which I did. And I broke it down into 7 different categories, but then I realized, like, okay, this is the 7 categories of my business. I'm like, what about a brand new person? What are like the fundamentals out of this that are relevant to everybody, not just me and where I'm at in my business, but everybody. And I figured it was lead generation, right? You got to filling the pipeline, right? So that's one area that has to require consistent focus, is lead generation. Another area that requires consistent focus is sales funnel conversions, right? You've got to enhance the experience of the lead to get more sales out of them. You know, you've got to enhance that has to be a consistent area of focus. Another area of focus has to be audience building, right? So building an audience, and you know, I've been building a significant audience with Twitter specifically, but I mean also Instagram, and you know, my Facebook fan page, and in other areas as well. But audience building has to be a big one, and then the fourth kind of pillar, if you will, that I think every business needs to continually focus on. Every home business owner needs to continually focus on is personal development. So like sharpening the saw, right? Right. So those are the 4 areas. So you got lead generation, list building, sales conversions, right? Audience building, and then you could kind of group some of the web presence branding into that audience building area. And then the fourth would be personal development. If you focus on those 4 areas consistently, that's how you're going to win.
I'm definitely all about simplifying and trying to, get this whole complicated world of online marketing into some simple fundamentals. And I think you kind of nailed it there as far as, what are the things that are people you need to focus on. And it's funny because when I speak with a lot of students, and I ask them, what are you doing for audience building, right? What are you doing for content marketing? What are you doing for lead generation? I can see where the gaps are in their business. And that's where, I think you and I realize internet marketing is really not that complicated. But there are some fundamental things that you absolutely need to focus on, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then some of those things I would say have to happen on a daily basis. And then other things maybe more like a weekly basis, right? So that's one of the things I shared at my event too, is like you really want to kind of break down your business into daily actions, what needs to happen on every single day, weekly actions, what maybe not necessarily have to happen every day, but at least a weekly has to be part of your focus. And then long-term projects. And then the long-term projects are the things like, things that are going to brand you, things that are going to make the selling process easier, establish you as an authority. Maybe that's, building up a blog. Maybe it's an ebook. Maybe it's a video series. Those are like long-term projects. Like my mastermind that I just I just did a mastermind in Denver that you mentioned a minute ago, a few weeks ago, that I was planning that for a few months. At one point, that was just one of my long-term projects, right? So the daily actions, that's like audience building and lead generation, I think have to happen every single day. You got to be doing something every day to get people into the pipeline and to get yourself exposed to a larger audience. And then personal development also daily. Out of those four, I would say maybe the sales conversions, like you're focusing on your sales funnel, that maybe doesn't have to happen every single day, but at least weekly emphasis for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so share with us now, because you got a lot of things going on. You've developed your own products that you're selling, affiliate programs that you promote. You've got a direct sales company you've been promoting and done really well at. You've got these masterminds that you run now. What's working for Adam right now? I know in the premium session, you're actually going to open up your business for us. You're going to walk us through one of your sales funnels, how you're leveraging Twitter right now. Which is hot and really exciting because you're getting a lot of leads and a lot of traction there on Twitter. So I'm really excited for you to share that with us. But maybe just give us a quick overview. What's working for Adam right now? What kind of process are you using?
Yeah. Well, I've really been on a big like content repurposing kick for the last like few months. Like how can I take some of the content that I've created in the past and get it in front of people?
Nice.
Because I realized that I'm not a big SEO guy. I never really have resonated with it at all. So like I don't have a lot of like I've written maybe 400 blog posts, and on top of hundreds of videos that I've created over the years, right? And a lot of them are just kind of just nobody's seeing them, right? There's not a lot of SEO, so it's not like they're getting a lot of search engine results, right? So I'm like I've got all these assets, all these little assets, these little pieces of content. I'm like, how can I get more people in front of them? And then my ebook, like I wrote an ebook. So 2011, I had my first six-figure year in business, and I wrote an ebook after that talking about attraction marketing and all kinds of different principles and fundamentals that allowed me to do that. And I was like, well, I wrote that a few years ago, and I launched it, but then since then I've kind of let it fall by the wayside. So I'm like, that's another like content that I could repurpose and create into something else. So I created a new funnel around the ebook, and over the last couple of months, that has generated hundreds of leads for me, and been really been a big part of my marketing pipeline. Has been that ebook. And then building my Twitter audience, right? And then creating systems that kind of drip my content, my blog posts, mostly my blog posts, in front to my growing Twitter audience. And that has been, just dripping that in the premium session. I'll show you kind of how I do that. But I drip that content, periodically, and that's how I'm repurposing that content, getting some of my best blog posts in front of a new audience, which is producing a ton of new leads, and then repurposing the ebook into a new funnel and then getting that out in front of the Twitter audience and some other ways as well, which has been creating a ton of leads.
So again, really back to fundamentals. You know, you've got your lead magnet, which is an ebook, and obviously ebooks still work. It's 2016. The whole thing is you need to have a lead magnet, something of value that you're giving away. So you got your lead magnet, you're giving it away. You're building an audience, and you've chosen to use Twitter. And I know you've got an audience on Facebook and that kind of stuff too, but you're using Twitter right now as well, really heavily. So you're building an audience there, and then you've got content which you're sharing and engaging with the audience and leading them to your ebook and other sources. I mean, that's essentially the process.
Yep. That's it.
Yeah, which is, pretty much basic fundamentals. Is just a matter of doing that process and knowing exactly how those steps work in order. But that's exciting, because I know now, are you paying for Twitter advertising as well? Or are you doing this all without paid ads on Twitter?
I've kind of gone back and forth with Twitter ads. I've had some Twitter ads that have done really well, and then I've had some that have bombed, just like everything else, right?
Mm-hmm.
But right now I'm just focusing on the free stuff, like really seeing how big I can go with the free strategies on Twitter. I mean, my paid advertising, I'm all about paid advertising, but my paid advertising dollars are going towards Facebook ads and some solo ads. So I'm not really focusing on Twitter from a paid advertising standpoint, but from an audience building and a free traffic and lead generation strategy, it's probably producing maybe 80%. From a free advertising standpoint, it's probably producing 80% of my traffic and leads right now.
Wow, that's powerful, and that's good diversity. You're talking about, you got Facebook ads going, solo ads traffic you're getting as well, and then you've got Twitter, which is 80% of your free traffic. I mean, that sounds like a solid marketing plan. All right, so Adam, we got to wrap it up here. I'm excited for the premium session. I hope that that you join us in the premium membership and have a look at what Adam's going to share with us. Why don't you leave us right now, Adam? What are you most excited about in business and in marketing right now? And what do you want people to know about right now? What are you excited about? What do you want to share with people right now?
I would just say, because since this call has been so much about fundamentals, I would just say the possibilities, I kind of have gotten to a point recently where I've been kind of really thinking about thinking about my mission in business and what's my purpose and all this stuff. And it really came down to showing people what's possible, right? That's kind of, if you want to sum up my mission in business, it's to show other people what's possible for them, for themselves and their lives in the digital age. And we live in a time when opportunity is just everywhere, like almost to the point where it's a little bit of a problem, because it's hard to determine where, with all these boats, it's like, well, I don't want to miss the boat on this, but it's like, well, there's too many boats. right.
So true.
Right. So it's just such an exciting time. I'm so excited about the audience building and some of that stuff that's happening, and just, my business has really, it's really provided me personally with, it has opened doors for me that I never would have thought possible for myself. It has allowed me to discover creativity and just ability within myself that I never knew existed. And now that I've experienced it, I've realized that it was there the whole time. I just needed a catalyst, to kind of bring it out. And the fundamental that I'll talk about is it really is personal development, getting around the people that have what you want, and modeling them. Back to the very beginning of this call, I talked about how I was modeling Norbert in the beginning. Model the people that have what you want. Just be commit yourself to consistent and never-ending improvement, and just don't don't squander or don't take for granted the ridiculous opportunities that exist, in this day and age that we live in.
Adam, well said. Truly inspirational, and I've always thought of you as an inspiration. Just your life, your story, your journey in business, and what you stand for. I mean, I see you as regular guy from Colorado who just wanted to create some freedom in his life, and you've turned into over the last 7 years as I've known you, I've watched you grow and develop as a marketer and an entrepreneur and a leader. And to think about how you've impacted hundreds, thousands of people around the world through your content, through your training, through what you've accomplished and what you've done in the last few years, it's amazing and it's inspiring to see. And I hope that the people listening are inspired by your story and it's inspired by what you've been able to achieve. And they just go out there and own the value they bring to the marketplace, and tap into the vision and possibility that's out there, and go out there and create create the lives that they truly desire. So, Adam, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your story, sharing your experience and your wisdom. Again, look forward to having you open up your marketing playbook for our premium members in the premium membership. And I just want to wish you luck in everything you do. I'm excited to see what's in store for you for the next year, and just want to give you a big thanks of gratitude for being here and sharing with everybody.
Thank you very much. It was absolutely my pleasure.
Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this session, and we will see you here again for another episode next week on the Online Playmaker Sessions. Take care, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this week's Playmaker session. If you love the session, subscribe now to our YouTube channel so you never miss our weekly episodes. Be sure to also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just type in Online Playmakers in the search bar and click subscribe, and be sure to leave a 5-star review. All of the episodes, show notes, transcripts, resources, and bonuses are available on the blog over at onlineprofitplaybook.com, along with several bonus free tutorials I've created for you as well. Your fast track to results is to follow the Playmakers. You can download their closely guarded playbooks and follow them step by step to grow your influence, build your audience, and create results in your business right now. Head over to onlineprofitplaybook.com and join the Playmakers to get full access today. Thank you again for joining us today, and be sure to tune in next week as we bring you another power-packed session with the top Playmakers online. This is Norbert Orlowitz signing off.